This is Axel 72 in association with Squared Circle Boxing. Pleasure to be joined by Ellis Zorro today. Ellis, press conference day, how are we feeling, man?
Yeah, feeling good. 2 more days, weigh in tomorrow, so just counting down the days, staying cool, calm and relaxed really. So yeah, looking forward to it Saturday night.
You do, seem to give off that relaxed energy about you, and is that something which you're always kind of wanting to bring into the ring as well?
No, I just think that's just who I am based on the life I've lived and who I've decided to be at this point in my life. But yeah, it's always important to kind of be relaxed and not burn up any unnecessary energy before the fight. Yeah.
And I suppose, does that mean that in general, stuff like nerves and things like that have never really been something you've struggled with too much?
I wouldn't say struggle with, I'm not going to say I don't feel things before big events and whatever. But yeah, it doesn't have a hold on me. It doesn't affect how I fight or anything like that, no.
And you've been on quite a few big stages now, and I suppose, how does this compare to other ones that you've been around?
Obviously, the Boxer in Manchester was quite big. Sky Sports, headlined at York Hall, fighting for the WBO European title. The Jose Burton fight was kind of a big build-up as well. Obviously, Saudi's the biggest, doesn't get any bigger than that. But yeah, that was probably the biggest. This is also big, but like I said, it's just experience. I'm used to doing it now. I'm getting more and more used to doing it now. So again, that helps me to stay even more, cool and relaxed.
And going into this fight, do you feel like possibly, maybe not for the first time, but the first time as of recent, you've been the one with the more experience as compared to your opponent?
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Chev is not inexperienced. I know what you're saying, but I've had more pro fights than him. But he's had some hard pro fights. He got going really quick. He's had some good 8 and 10 rounders, good opponents. Where a lot of my early fights were like journeyman or whatever, so it kind of levels out. And then obviously his amateur pedigree. So he's not inexperienced. I beat all of my career, like you say, I beat a lot more experienced fighters than myself. So I don't think experience necessarily wins fights. So yeah, I don't take too much from that. Yeah.
And when you look back upon your last fight, obviously it of course didn't end how you wanted it to, and it did end in quite dramatic fashion, but how have you been able to go away and to rebuild and to get to a process now where you feel confident?
I feel like if I got, beat up for 12 rounds, it probably would have taken more of my confidence, But in my mind, it's like, well, not even in my mind, I got hit with a shot. It's not like I was getting outmaneuvered and beat up for the whole 2 minutes of the fight. It was just like a one shot from a world-class fighter, and that's what happens when you make mistakes. So straight after, it was like a little bit of an anti-climax, because I wanted the opportunity to kind of prove myself. Win, lose or draw, prove myself. That's what I want to do. Obviously, I wasn't given that opportunity. Credit to Opetaia. So yeah, I carry like a lot of motivation because I want to get back. If I was doing a 6-rounder or an 8-rounder, it's still good, but this is even better. Like, it's very rare to come off a loss like that and then walk into a British title fight. So I'm lucky in that kind of sense. So yeah, no stone left unturned. I've been back to camp working on my mistakes, and yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of getting out there again and putting right all the wrongs.
And I appreciate you perhaps exclaiming that you are lucky to an extent to be in the position that you're in, and are you always just really grateful for the opportunities that you have gotten in your career?
Yeah, but what I've learned, because I come from the small hall boxing, it's like sometimes you just have to be ready. I've never been in a position where I can turn down fights, whether it's Opetaia, Chef Clark. That's not been my career. I'm 31 years old. This is what I'm doing it for. When I first started boxing, I was dying to get like southern area shots. I was dying to be in 50-50 fights. So I know I'm in a different position now, but yeah, that's still with me. I want to be in these good competitive fights, and Chev is a good fighter, and it's going to be a good scrap between the two of us.
And how easy were the negotiations, I suppose, between you and Chev to get this fight underway?
Well, as you know, it wasn't essentially meant to be me. It's meant to be, I guess, Isaac or Vidal, but my name definitely wasn't involved. But I lost December 23rd. I was back in the gym on the 8th of January. I've been training, I've been in the gym ready. Like I said, it's just staying ready. I let my manager, Martin Bowers, deal with that. So when the phone rings, we just say yes. Most of the fights at this kind of stage in my career are going to make sense, So yeah, it was kind of like a no-brainer. And again, to fight for a British title, it's a massive opportunity, yeah.
And obviously it's not a world title, but a British title is a very prestigious title. And how much would it mean for you to become a British champion?
It'd mean a lot, when I originally got into boxing, I was like, oh, like if I can get a Southern area title, then retire. I didn't get the Southern area. Obviously, I won the boxer, got the WBO European. But a British title, this is history, do you know what I mean? For the country, for myself and my family, from where I'm from, in Lewisham, like it'll be a big, massive achievement for me, yeah.
And I suppose, you don't want to overlook anything, but if you do get a win here, the kind of domestic scene for the cruiserweight division is doing very well at the moment. And do you look across at any other fights going on at the moment?
Not really. I don't even, like I said, like boxing's changing all the time. So even when the Chev Clark, Isaac Chamberlain thing was going on, I just stay training, like things happen in boxing, it changes all the time. So I just focus on what I got to do, and that was training. Now it's Chev Clark. I don't look ahead, I look behind. It's just Chev Clark for now, yeah.
That's great to hear. And for yourself at the moment, what would you say currently is that main motivation for you?
I'm just a competitor, This is my life, this is my career, this is what I've worked hard. I've worked hard to be in these press conferences, to be in these events, if that makes sense. So yeah, my motivation is just to keep going. Obviously, I got a family to provide for, a daughter at home. This is what I love. I love the life that boxing has provided me with, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's my main motivation. Yeah.
That's brilliant, and I appreciate your time. Just a couple more from me, and you've fought, like we've mentioned, in some great venues at the moment, and I suppose, is there anywhere left, big venue-wise, that you'd like to fight in?
Still like to fight in the O2. Being from South London, I've not gone to the O2 yet. I've done a lot of York Hall, Essex, Manchester, obviously Saudi. Saudi was massive, but yeah, I'd love to go to like the O2 and headline there, or co-main event there. That would be great. That would be sick.
And from somebody who has fought out in Saudi, sometimes there's been critics about like the atmosphere and things like that for fights out in Saudi. And what did you make of it?
It's definitely different, but it's still quite new. I think they need to be given time to change, like not change, but whatever it's going to look like, just give them time. There's not been a whole heap of shows out there. Obviously, the one I went to was 2 days before Christmas, so it's not going to be packed with like British fans, is it? So yeah, I just think like I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it at all. I just think give them time and it will change. But if it stays how it stays, as long as the big fights are being made, people are tuning in on the TV, doesn't really matter.
But is it nice to, be returning back to England for this fight, and the crowd's going to be going crazy for this fight?
Yeah, it's a massive main event, so the crowd's going to be going mad. I think I won one fight before that, so yeah, I love being in England. This is where I'm from, so yeah, this is where it's at.
Brilliant. Ellis, thank you very much, man.
Thank you.